Sodor's Lost Emerald.
Another big ship's coming in.
Oh, goody!
Oh, goody.
What's wrong, Cranky? Don't you like being busy?
I'm used to it, but it's been night and day, loading and lifting, lifting and loading. It doesn't stop.
That's odd. There's nothing on board this ship.
Where's all the cargo?
Land at last.
Whoa, 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 you can't get off here. This is an unloading zone.
Ah, sorry, lad. It appears we've laid anchor in the wrong area.
Clearly.
Ah, but the lost emerald of Sodor waits for no one. We must dash.
The Lost Emerald of Sodor, eh? I think I've heard of that one. Oh, yes! The Legend of the...
This isn't the time for one of your old sea stories, Salty. There's work to do. We need more flatbeds. Where's Porter gotten to?
Aye, aye, Captain.
And that's why we'd like permission to explore some rather older areas of your railway, sir. We're sure the lost emerald is still somewhere around this island.
As I told you over the phone, I've not heard of this treasure myself, but if you're certain of its existence and your activities don't delay the work of my railway, I suppose your expedition may proceed.
Very well, my friend. Onward, team! That treasure shall not find itself!
A treasure? Oh, that sounds so exciting! Thomas! Thomas!
Whoa! Easy there, Philip.
Did you hear the news? There's lost treasure hidden somewhere on Sodor.
Oh, that's nothing new, Philip. We discover lost treasure all the time.
I want to find my own treasure. Maybe this one's really special.
Maybe you can talk to Salty. He knows more about treasure than anyone.
You're right, Thomas. But how do I get there without leaving my job?
Percy has a train headed there when he gets back from his mail run. Maybe you can take it. I'm sure he'd be grateful for a rest.
Maybe I will.
Here comes another.
So much for a break.
Salty! You're just the engine I wanted to speak to.
Oi there, shipmate. What's got you rushing around, eh?
Do you know anything about lost treasure on Sodor?
Har! It be treasure you're hunting for, eh, matey? Which one?
I heard the fat controller talking to someone about a lost emerald. Something about getting permission for an expedition.
Funny you mention it. There were some explorers that arrived this morning, and the only thing on their minds was treasure. This must be the same crew.
Really?
Hey, Salty, we need another flatbed.
Nar! Righto, Cranky. Now, this here legend has been passed down many a years, matey. So much so, there's even a sea shanty about it.
Sea shanty?
Aye, matey. A sea shanty be a song seagoing folks sing for either entertainment or with clues to find a treasure. Would you like to hear it?
Oh, yes, please, Salty.
I thought you might. Follow me, my hearty. To find a treasure fit for a queen, look out from a mountain ye have seen. You look real hard and your eyes are keen. You'll find a tower of stone. Har! Hey ho, as the wind does blow, the song has secrets we should know. Hey ho, round the island glow, a treasure waits below. Once inside that tower of stone, stand in the place where the sun has shone, and on the wall just above the throne, a secret he will find. Har! Hey ho, as the wind does blow, the song has secrets we should know. Hey ho, round the island go, a treasure waits below. Through the tunnel with little glow, down to a place that ye might know. Pass without a bridge, around ye go, the secret lies below. A pool as blue as the cloudless sky holds a treasure, a priceless prize, a hidden gem right before your eyes. Something special ye have found. Hey!
Salty?
Ha ha! Right here. Now, did you get all that, little fella?
I think so. There's a mountain, tower of stone. Where could there be a mountain with lots of stone? The Blue Mountain Quarry! There's always lots of stone there.
If it be the quarry ye be heading for, matey, then perhaps you can take these trucks up there with you. Get a few of them out of the way here. I'm sure it'd make old Cranky a little less cranky.
Sure thing, Salty.
Philip rolled down the branch line, but all his thoughts were on Salty's song.
Tower of stone, above a throne, tunnel with little glow. There's so much to remember. I just hope the quarry is the right place. Tower of stone. I see lots of stones, but no towers. If only I could get up higher. That's it! Owen!
Oh, hello there, Philip. What brings you all the way up here?
I'm trying to find a tower of stone that's supposed to lead me to the Lost Emerald of Sodor. Can you see any from up there?
Tower of Stone. I can see lots of stone from up here, but I'm not seeing any towers. Sorry.
Oh, thanks anyway, Owen.
Hello, Philip. We were expecting Paxton today. Have you come to help out?
No, I haven't. Some explorers are looking for the Lost Emerald of Sodor, and Salty told me about a song with the clues to find it.
Oh, it's a song now, eh?
Wait, you know about the emerald?
Well, I've heard this story before. Many years ago, it started making its way around the island not long after Renius and I arrived. I don't remember it all that well, unfortunately.
Do you know anything about a tower of stone? The first verse of the song mentions looking out from a mountain and seeing a tower of stone.
The only tower of stone I can think of would be up at Ulfstead Castle. but I can't recall ever being able to see them from here. But, in the old days, when the story was first going around, the quarry wasn't built and these mountains used to be much higher. It was possible to see the castle from here. After work began and blasting started, the mountains became smaller.
And Ulstead Castle has many Tower of Stones. That's it! Thank you, Skarloey.
Glad I could be of assistance. Oh, Philip, if you're going to the castle, would you mind taking these trucks with you? It would save Paxton a run.
Oh, I suppose. Oh, I hope this is right. What's the next part of the song again? Once inside that Tower of Stone, stand in a place where the sun has shone. Where the sun has shone. What does that mean? What about the throne? Oh, treasure hunting is so confusing.
Keep going. We're in the right place. I can feel it. An old mine is the perfect place to hide treasure.
Hello there. Are you still searching for the lost Emerald of Sodor?
Quite right, my little boxy friend. We're just about to search this old mine here.
Huh. Who'd ever hide a treasure in an old mine?
Do you have any other idea where it might be then?
Well, I think I might have solved the Tower of Stone part of the song. I'm headed up to Ulstead Castle now. Would you like to join?
The Castle Tower of Stone. How did I not think of that myself? Come along, team. Onwards to the Tower of Stone.
Oh, greetings, Philip.
Hi, Stephen. We're searching for the lost Emerald of Sodor, and I'm trying to find a Tower of Stone.
Well, you're in luck. The castle has several towers of stone, but none that contain any lost treasure, only found ones. The Earl has found some quite amazing things he keeps in the castle. Perhaps you should speak to him about what you're looking for.
Could you take us to him, please?
Sure thing, little fella. Right this way.
Yes, that's the ticket. But be sure to keep some space for visiting engines. We can have a plethora of rotating guests visit and...
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, yes, Stephen? Is something the matter?
No, sir. But Philip would like to speak with you.
Go ahead and send these plans to Miss Jenny. We can make alterations later.
Right away, Sir Robert.
And what can I do for you, Philip?
Well, you see, your worshipful, your earliest...
Sir Robert is fine, Philip.
Oh, well, you see, Sir Robert, we're looking for the lost Emerald of Sodor, and Salty gave me the clues to find it in an old song. One of the clues mentioned a Tower of Stone. I thought it could be here at the castle. Do you know anything about it?
A lost treasure, you say? I do believe I've heard the song you're referring to. My father once mentioned something similar many years ago, but I was quite young at the time. I'm afraid I don't recall it all. What is the next clue after the Tower of Stone?
Once inside that Tower of Stone, stand in a place where the sun has shone, and on the wall, just above the throne, a secret you will find.
Just inside one of the towers here was King Godred's throne room. That could be what you're looking for.
Oh, that's wonderful news. Would you mind if we take a look?
Better yet, I'll show you myself.
That's great! Thank you, Sir Robert!
Well, Philip, it's inside, and unfortunately, there isn't room for engines.
Oh.
Ah, no need to feel down, lad. We'll go take a look and report back. Teamwork at its best. Lead the way, Sir Robert.
And now here is King Godric's throne room. It really is quite a remarkable piece of architecture for its time.
Yes, very nice. Now then, the clue.
Once inside that tower of stone, stand in a place where sun has shone.
Where sun has shone? To me, that sounds like near the window. The sun usually shines through it, into here, around this time of day. What was next?
On the wall, just above the throne, a secret you will find.
Look at that.
Ah, yes, King Godric's old map of the island.
Maybe, at a certain time of day, the sun shines onto the map and shows the location of the next clue.
That doesn't seem too likely. Besides, how would we know what time to—
Wait a minute. She's right. Look.
Well, I'll be.
But where's it leading? There's no locations on this map.
Well, if we look at this map and compare it here to a current map with the locations on the island, it appears to be pointed to the Old Maritime Museum and Pirates Cove.
Pirates Cove? That's a treasure spot if I ever heard one. Ha ha! Thank you for your help, Sir Robert. We will not forget what you've done for us.
Oh, it was nothing.
Onwards, team! Back to our train and to Pirates Cove we go!
Oh, do be careful, please. Those are priceless gems from Rome.
Did you find anything?
You were right, my little friend. The sun has shown us the way to the treasure.
Wow! I was right! So where do we need to go now?
We're off to Pirates Cove! Ha ha ha! Treasure, here we come!
Oh boy, this is so exciting! I've never been to Pirates Cove. Off we go!
Oh, Philip, wait! That slate is meant to be delivered here! Philip!
But Philip was too excited to hear. His mind was on one thing only.
I'm so glad I was right! Maybe the treasure really is real! I'm just like Salty now! A fearsome pirate searching for his lost treasure! Yo-ho, yo-ho, it's a pirate's life for me! Through the tunnel with little glow, down to a place you might know. This is the spot! What's happened here? I heard this place was always busy. Where is everyone?
This place has seen better days.
It has.
Who are you?
You couldn't call me Mr. Teach. I used to work at that old museum until the pirate ship was found and they decided to move everything to a new museum at Alsborough Harbour.
Oh, dear.
We're on the hunt for the lost Emerald of Sodor. We had a clue that led us here. Have you seen or heard anything about it?
A treasure? There's no hidden treasure around here. At least not anymore. Some Blue Engine found it on opening day of the museum. They kept it on display until it got moved to Alsborough as well.
So, you're saying the lost treasure
isn't lost anymore?
I'm afraid not.
Oh, I was really looking forward to finding the treasure.
Us as well, my little fellow. We put so much into this expedition, only to turn up with nothing.
We better pack our stuff up. It's a long journey back.
Mr. Teach? What's that over there?
That? Oh, that's the town of Kirk Ronan. Quite a large town. It's got a big railway station there too. Unfortunately, you can't get to it too easily. There's no bridge. You have to travel the long way around. Past the cement works and...
Wait a minute. Pass without a bridge. Around you go. The secret lies below. That's it.
What's it?
The treasure. It isn't here. It's over there. In Kirk Ronan.
Now, what do you mean?
The song says, pass without a bridge, around you go. If you can't cross the water with a bridge, your only option is to go around it. There must be another treasure, and it's hidden below Kirk Ronan. The secret lies below.
Well, what are we just standing around for? To the treasure!
To the treasure! Thank you, Mr. Teach.
Safe travels, young explorer.
Another diesel engine? Hold on right there. Now then, what do we have here?
Oh, hello there. I'm Philip. I'm a diesel box cab.
Oh, you're boxy all right. What are you doing around these parts?
Well, long story short, these explorers and I are looking for the lost Emerald of Sodor. We've been following clues from an old story that got turned into a sea shanty that Salty sang to me. We've been all over the island, and I'm sure the final clue leads us to Kirk Ronan.
Oh, treasure? Sea shanty? Okay, that's a first for me.
Do you know of anything that might be hidden below Kirk Ronan?
The only thing below Kirk Ronan is the old harbour, but that's been abandoned for decades. I must ask, what does a train of slate have to do with a treasure hunt?
Train of slate? Oh, I forgot to leave those trucks up at Ulstead Castle! Oh, but we're so close to the treasure now! I'll just deliver them afterwards.
Deliver them afterwards? Pah! You should have done it right the first time.
Come on, little fellow. The treasure is waiting to be found. Onwards! Onwards!
It'll just be a minute. I really must go. Thank you for your help,
Fergus.
Thanks, Fergus. Got a dash.
Hey! Slow down. Man the station traffic.
Station traffic? What does that mean?
Hey, look out!
Oh my goodness! Points! Points!
Oh my!
Oh no!
Wait! You can't go down there!
Oh boy, I don't think this is good.
You think?
Oh, I think I preferred the rough seas more than this.
Whoa! Oh, goodness!
Oh, that was a close one. But where are we?
Where have you gotten us now?
I don't know.
So now we're completely lost? So much for finding the treasure.
I think it might be time to accept that the legend might not have been real.
I think Jackson's right, boss. Lots of pirates just made up stories back in the day to keep people on the lookout for hidden and stolen treasures, but really, they were setting them on a fool's errand. Perhaps this was one of them.
I guess you might be right. Years of research, just to land on a dead end.
I'm sorry, sir. I thought I had followed all the clues. I thought the treasure had to be real. But I've just let everyone down. And I haven't been a really useful engine.
Hey now, don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah, you got most of the clues right.
If it weren't for you coming along with the answer to the Tower of Stone, we'd still be looking in that mine for nothing.
It's not your fault the treasure wasn't real. Legends just get people excited sometimes.
If anything, it was still a fun adventure. Come on, team, let's take a look around while we're here. Maybe some of this old junk might be worth something.
I really am a silly engine, believing hidden treasure was real. Oh. Through the tunnel with little glow, down to a place that you might know. Pass without a bridge, around you go. The secret lies below. A pool of blue as a cloudless sky. That water! It's as blue as a cloudless sky. We are in the right place.
What's this? Just a rusty old can. If only it was treasure.
Haven't you heard of knocking fast?
Who said that?
Well, that's one way to make an entrance.
Who are you?
My name is Neil.
How long have you been in there?
Not too long, I believe. Maybe a couple of decades, I suppose. My brothers and I used to run this line, and this little harbour back in the day. Did I happen to hear someone say treasure a moment ago?
Oh, yes, that was me. Sorry about your door.
Ah. I haven't heard that nickname in a long time.
Nickname?
Oh, yes. The villagers around here often needed supplies delivered by rail, as it was the quickest way to get things like medicines to the town. My brothers and I ran so efficiently, the villagers nicknamed us their Little Emeralds. Then traffic began to slow. Ships stopped coming to the harbour. Matthew and Clive were sold to another railway, and I was left to run the line on my own.
I did fairly well. Even helping to build and then deliver engines to a little narrow gauge line. But eventually, better roads and vehicles were built. And I just couldn't keep up. I was left in this shed. And some of the villagers would occasionally stop by to visit. They continued to call me their little treasure, and that they would find a home for me one day. But then, they stopped coming by, and everything went quiet. Eventually, I began to come to the conclusion everyone had forgotten me.
Wait a minute. Holds a treasure, a priceless prize, a hidden gem before your eyes. Something special you have found. It's you!
Hey, what's me?
You're the lost Emerald of Sodor! You're what the legend's about!
Legend?
You mentioned you brought engines to a narrow gauge line. Did one of them happen to be named Skarloey?
Well, yes, in fact. And I believe the other was Rheneas. Why? Do you know him?
I do! He told me just today he had heard the story of the treasure from back in the day. I get it now. The villagers never forgot about you. They created the legend and left clues so someone could find you. You really are the treasure.
Well then, you must be pretty good treasure hunters.
Probably would have been sooner if the legend was a little more forthcoming, though.
Ow! Oof. Oh, blasted branches.
Harvey?
Ah, there you are, Philip.
How did you find me?
Signalman called for help after he switched you down here. Molly pointed us in the right direction. Thought you might need a helpful hook.
Philip the Diesel Box Cab!
Uh-oh.
Ah, I might have known this group might be behind these shenanigans. I told you lot that you could hunt for the treasure as long as it didn't delay my railway. I have the right mind to...
It wasn't their fault, sir. I asked them to join me after Salty told me about the treasure. I really didn't mean to leave without delivering the slate. I just got so excited that I forgot about it.
Oh, hello. It might not be the best time, but who's your friend here, Philip?
Oh, this is
Neil?
Hello, sir.
I can't believe it. I haven't seen you since I was a boy.
It has been quite some time.
I always believed you had been sold alongside your brothers.
You know each other?
Neil here was one of the first engines to work on the island, back when my great-grandfather was controller. My, if I'd have known you were still here, I would have come for you a long time ago.
Well, if it weren't for Philip here, sir, I'd still be hidden away.
Philip, however did you find him?
Well, sir, it turns out Neil was the treasure we were searching for the whole time.
I see. Right then. Harvey, please see to it that Neil is taken to the steamworks. I want to see him fixed up and as good as new as soon as possible.
Right away, sir.
As for you lot, thank you for finding a piece of Sodor history. I will put aside my grievances with how today's events have transpired as a token of my gratitude.
Very well. Thank you, sir. We also thank you for the opportunity you gave us to explore your railway. We've learned some quite amazing things being here. Please don't be too hard on the little Diesel. He just wanted to help out a couple of lost explorers. It turns out he was always on the right track.
Thank you for that. Now then, Philip, it appears you've had an eventful day then.
Yes, sir.
Very well. If you could please make your delivery back to the castle, we'll say no more about it.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Oh, sir, if I may, when I was at the docks, everything there seemed a little overwhelming for everyone.
Yes, I've gotten a lot of reports of the delays at the docks. I've been meaning to give them some relief, and I think I may have just gotten the idea how to take care of that.
Over the coming weeks, everyone at the Steamworks worked hard to fix up the old engine. Philip came by as often as he could to talk to Neil and tell him about the railway.
And then the shooting star was entering first place when, boom, his boiler burst.
Oh, goodness.
While the Fat Controller worked on a surprise of his own. That was until one day.
Hello, Victor. Hi, Neil. You'll never guess what Toby told me today. Neil? Where'd he go?
Neil isn't here. He left this morning.
But he didn't even say goodbye.
I was informed to tell you there's a special load waiting for you to take to Kirk Ronan Harbour.
A special load? To the harbour? I wonder what for.
Beats me, but the Fat Controller said it was urgent and important.
Well, if he says so. Bye, Victor. This is much better than being hit with branches. Whoa! This place looks amazing!
I hope so. We spend a lot of time getting it ready.
Oh, you must be Philip. Sir Topham Hatt is waiting for you in the yard, by the signal books.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Ah, Philip, right on time. Well done.
Thank you, sir. But what's so important about some empty trucks?
Well, Philip, every busy dockside needs trucks at the ready, especially for their new shunter.
Hey, and that's me. So, what do you think? Better than being covered in rust and weeds, huh?
Wow! You look great, Neil.
Neil here is going to be the dedicated shunter at the harbour when it's officially reopened to shipping traffic. This way, some ships can come here instead of overcrowding Brendam docks.
That's great, sir. And to think, all this started because of some silly treasure hunt.
And I'd still be stuck in that shed if it weren't for you.
It just goes to show we did find the best treasure after all. A new friend.